Okay, I think that's gonna be the vibes that we're going for. So welcome to my first video for 2025. Happy New Year. I hope you all have had a beautiful reset, refresh if you have had time off of work, even just unplugged. Okay, interesting. So quite literally, as soon as I started that intro, my memory card was full, even though it said it had 3 hours. But anyway, where was I? Hope you have had a beautiful start to your year. I'm also sending you guys all so much love, whatever season it is that you may be navigating. I know that the end of the year can be a really hard time and season for people around Christmas, New Year. There can be a lot of hard times, a lot of grief, a lot of different experiences, you know, grieving what this time of year would look like for you. And yeah, just for whatever reason, I'm sending you so much love. I think it's so important for us to just be mindful of that around, you know, such a beautiful time for so many. I personally love this time of year. It has been challenging for me in a certain area of my life. This year has looked very different for me. And, you know, I know for so many people that's also the case. And I think it is just so important for us to, yes, of course, love this season, love, you know, Christmas and New Year, and be so happy and merry about it, and also just be mindful that that's not the case for everyone, and above all else, just to extend compassion and to have grace and to just remember that we never know what anyone ever really is navigating in their world. So if that is you, I'm sending you so much love, and yeah. So welcome to my first video for 2025. I have such big goals for YouTube in 2025, and this is going to be a goal setting video. I'm going to kind of take you guys through what I have planned, what I intend, what I've set intentions around achieving in 2025. But I also want to have it be a bit of a wrap up for 2024. Now, that's not going to be me airing my dirty laundry. It's not going to be me going through every other thing that happened, but I really do just want to have a space to close out the year that has been and just share with you guys. I really am, you know, getting to a place where YouTube is quickly becoming my safe space, where I just love to speak to you guys. I love to chat with you guys. Like, it really does just feel like you're sitting here with me and we're just chatting, like two besties just chatting. And I want to fill you guys in because there's been so many changes, there's been so many lessons, and it's time to talk about it. So 2024. Where does one even start? Quite literally, I feel like so many people have that vibe where it's like, what the fuck just happened? And also, are we okay? Like that, but so many lessons that I'm so grateful for. So if I was to try and give you guys 2024 in like a sped up trailer version of a movie, it would go a little something like this. We got married in December of 2023. 2024, January, on the 1st of the year, which is so crazy to be a year from this date now. You'll be watching this video in the first couple of days of January, and just reflecting on where we were at, Cruz and I, on January 1st this time last year to where we are now. We never could have predicted where, you know, what our life would look like and the direction that would be heading, both individually but also as a couple in our first year of marriage. So on the 1st of January 2024, Cruz reached out to a real estate agent for the very first time about just putting out the feelers of what it would look like to sell our home in Adelaide. So long story short, we knew that we just got to a point where we knew our home in Adelaide wasn't going to be our forever home. And with the nature of the market at the time, it was just a smart move for us to consider what it would look like selling that property. So he got in touch with the real estate agent and put the feelers out, literally just to look at what our house would potentially sell for. Now, fast forward to the 3rd of January, 2 days later, we met with a beautiful real estate agent, Costa. I could not recommend Costa and Costi more from Bell Property in Norwood. We met with Costa on the 3rd. He came to our home, essentially just went over, you know, what it would look like to sell through them as agents, and the process and all of the things. That day, we decided to go ahead with it. Just like to paint that picture, on the 1st, we weren't planning to sell, we were just curious. And on the 3rd, we had agreed to sell our property with no other plan. Fast forward to the 7th or 8th, I can't remember exactly, we had fully staged our home, meaning that we had fully gutted our home of all of its furniture other than 2 bed frames. So we'd moved everything out. We had a stylist come in, they fully staged the home, and within under 10 days, the house was on the market, right? We had photos done and it was on the market. So things moved very, very quickly. And with that, we had no idea what our plan was. We actually just thought we're going to move to a property in the Adelaide Hills. Bruce comes from a farm, so he grew up on property, and we just kind of thought that was our next move, which in hindsight, I'm like, wow, that could literally not be me. But we just thought that was right for us in the season. So yeah, it was just kind of like, yep, that's what we're doing. We're just going to find another place in Adelaide. Bye. Yada, yada, yada. So our house was on the market and Cruz came home one day and he was like, hey, did you like maybe want to move to Queensland? Like that was just literally what he said. He was like, hey, I've got something I want to talk to you about. Did you maybe want to move to Queensland? I've been talking to Riley, shout out my bestie. She at the time was in the Sunshine Coast and Cruz was looking at properties there. And I think at the core of both of us, we just knew that we had outgrown the current season of life that we were in Adelaide without knowing, right? Like we knew it, but we didn't know it. And the decision to sell our house just shone light on that fact for both of us. And in that moment, we kind of just said, fuck it, let's move. So long story short, in that we were looking at some homes, we found the home that we're currently in, didn't even put an offer in for it because it was out of our budget, but Cruz did express interest via email. So 2 weeks later, they reached out to us and said, hey, the sellers are really motivated to sell. They've purchased another house at auction. So could you meet us at XYZ? Essentially, we put in an offer, it got accepted, and the day that our contract got signed for this house was the day of my babu, like my bestie Angel, if you guys know, you know, his 1 year anniversary, heaven side. And that was just the thing for me where I was like, it couldn't be more perfect. We didn't see this house in person before purchasing it, which in hindsight is so crazy, but in hindsight, everything also happens for a reason because I know for a fact, we've done so much work on this house, Cruz has done so much work on this house, but I know for a fact that if I were to have seen this prior to literally driving our whole life across the country, I probably wouldn't have wanted it just because like the vibes are off. The vibes were off. The previous owners, bless them, but they didn't really care for the house too well. And I just think first impressions last. And yeah, first impressions was post us purchasing the house. So everything happens for a reason because I now couldn't imagine not being in this home. But if I'd seen it beforehand, I probably would have been like, you know. So that is really how this time last year started for us. So I said I wasn't going to go into too much detail about the year, and I've been talking for 10 minutes about January 1st, 2023. So, January 1st, 2024. So that's what you can expect from this video. Will we potentially be doing a 2-part? Maybe, who knows. Fast forward. We came to Queensland, we drove our life over every single one of our belongings on May 14th, and we have been here obviously since then. Now, in that time, I knew at the core of me that that decision and that move would again just shine a light on so many areas of my life that I was ready to evolve past. And being in Adelaide, I felt very isolated. I have incredible friends in Adelaide. I have my incredible family. My family is like my life. So that in itself was such a process to move away from. But I just knew that it was time to spread my little wings and experience a different life for myself. And all of my, like a lot of my friends are also up in Queensland. So I wasn't just moving blindly to a state that I didn't know anyone. I knew that I was moving to my circle and to my network. And yeah, being around people who I really believe just call me forward in so many ways and don't allow me to settle in an experience of life or in, you know, things that might seem good but that I know aren't for me, changed everything for me because I was starting to have the conversations that I was having with myself for a very long time. And I think when you maybe are isolated or you don't verbalize how you're feeling or you don't soundboard how you're feeling about certain things, it can be so easy for you to discredit what you know to be true and what you know to be right versus wrong for you in a season of life. And, you know, in hindsight now, and hindsight is such a beautiful thing because I really believe we reach our conclusions when we need to get there and, you know, never a second sooner. And that was definitely my journey. And now looking back in hindsight on so many areas of my life that I was deeply unfulfilled and unaligned in, but I continued to pursue that path because I thought it was right or because it was successful or because it was working for me. All of that was dissolved when I moved to Queensland because I actually started being honest, not just with myself, but the people around me were allowing me to be honest because they were calling out my honest truth from me, if that makes sense. And so this whole year I was on a coaching call at the beginning of 2024 and I said, guys, at the core of me, I just feel like this is going to be the year of the rebirth. And my goodness, was it the year of the rebirth for this guy. I started just feeling such an aversion to so many things again that I thought were for me, especially with my coaching business at the time, with the way that I was showing up on social media, the way that I was sharing my life, what I was pursuing, you know, so many things, especially in that capacity in the online space and in my business, that I gaslit myself into believing that it was making me happy and that it was what was for me. And I really believe the external world really validated that it was for me, because on paper I had achieved everything that I wanted. So things were working really well, and it's like I gaslight myself again into believing that just because things are working means that it's right, means that it's for me. And I really reached so many points of like, who am I to change my mind and decide that this is no longer for me when I have seen such success in it and it has gifted me so much. And I do actually really love the work in and of itself, and I love to support people and I love to impact people. And even still at my core, I was like, something feels off. And long story short, that's really been what this year has been for me. I have just actually honored my truth, and I've actually just come to, if I was to put the paper down where I've ticked every single box, ticked the success on paper, that ticked the business that worked, that ticked the impactful work because I'm serving other people, that ticked XYZ, and actually questioned, does this make me happy? The answer was no. And it was such a gradual process again over the year, with me just owning that more and more and more and more. And in my personal life, I have had, my world turned absolutely upside down this year with things happening in my family. And again, like I've spoken, I'm not going to go into depth around what that is, but that really escalated when I moved to Queensland. Not for the move, like just the circumstances changed quite quickly with health and all that is happening back home, which that in and of itself has been so challenging for me to navigate this year, having left home and feeling like I've let my family down and all these things. Like that's just a whole nother story. But that hit me in the face so hard, especially the middle of the year. I'm gonna say like July, August, when things started really like deteriorating back home, if you will. I was just reminded of like what actually matters in life and how life is not infinite. Like I believe that we have infinite potential and there's infinite possibilities in life, but life in and of itself isn't infinite. Like we're not here forever. We're not promised anything in this life. Like we're not promised tomorrow, we're not promised 5 years, and we're not promised our health, we're not promised our quality of life. Like nothing is promised. That was really, really shown to me from one of my closest family members this year, navigating what I believe no one should ever have to navigate. And that was my moment of like, Christina, we're not doing this anymore. It makes me like emotional. Yeah, like Christina, we're not doing this anymore. Like we're not pursuing success on paper when you're actually unfulfilled experiencing that success on paper. And it's such a funny thing because we live in a world where we're so quick to chase things outside of ourselves, and especially when the things that we're chasing come through for us and they work and all of these things, even if we're not happy in that, even if we're not fulfilled in that, we can so easily gaslight ourselves into believing that we are, because again, on paper, we've like hit this point of society's definition of success or making it or the freedom or the XYZ. And again, I had everything on paper, and in my soul, in my heart, I was so unhappy. I was so unfulfilled. I was just lacking my spark. I was so deeply out of alignment. And again, like there's so many elements of the work that I've been doing over the last 3 years that I absolutely love, particularly just when it comes to humans. Like I love humans, and that's something that I've always known I was here to do, and I truly believe this is my purpose. Like I'm here to have an impact on people in some way, even if it's just like the person that I'm speaking to at the cafe, even if it's just someone that I have an interaction with passing by, if it's someone watching my YouTube, if it's someone on my Instagram, if it's someone through the lens of my coaching, whatever it's been, I've always known that I'm here to make an impact. But what I've realized this year is I'm not here to make it in the way that I thought I was and in the way that I have been in the last 3 years with my coaching. And this has been the year of the rebirth where I really, really, really have acknowledged that. And whilst I still work with my private clients who I love so dearly and who have been in my world really since the beginning of my coaching, I've decided to step away from it, and I've decided to, pursue true success, the ultimate success, which is deep fulfillment, deep alignment, just my happiness again, and my quality of life. And something that I mentioned to a girlfriend of mine with my coaching and the business and everything that it was built to, and the success and whatever, was that experience and that business gifted me a lot of time, like of course like being my own boss and working on my own schedule and having all of this freedom. Like again, like I was mentioning, freedom is one of my top values, so on paper I had the thing, but when I really sat with it, I was like, it hasn't gifted me freedom, it's gifted me time. It's gifted me, yes, time in my days, but that time has been spent in like lacking happiness, lacking fulfillment, feeling stressed, feeling anxious, feeling all of these things, which in hindsight now I can see has only ever been a symptom of me actually being just out of alignment, you know? And I just refuse, like I literally just refuse to take that into 2025, which is why I'm sharing this video. And it's so funny because this was meant to be like a quick recap and then some goal setting for 2025, but I'm feeling like this is probably going to be 2 videos because again, I've already been speaking for 20 minutes. So that has essentially been my year with so many other things in that. Moved here, my whole world was shook upside down with, you know, my personal life. It has been the hardest year for me emotionally with everything that's been happening, but equally a year of just so much personal growth and so many lessons, and even just being here, you know, moving away from home, being away from the people that I want to be there for the most, changing direction, pivoting entirely with my business, deciding to move away from my business, you know, deciding to really just own what I want to do when it comes to social media and YouTube. Like I do want this to be my work someday. Like I do want to just continue to be able to share my life and document my life and take you guys along with me and impact people. And obviously the Nourishment Project started up and the protein balls and like so many things, and I feel like I'm still figuring out so much of it. But for right now, I'm ready to tell that part of my story, and I'm ready to just open up about the fact that you can never let the external world tell you what you should want, nor should you ever let the external world and the success that you create in it be the reason that you continue down a path that doesn't make you happy. And that can be a really, really hard thing to acknowledge and a really, really hard thing to take action on. I'm speaking to myself in that because I remained blind, and I gained a lot from remaining blind to my truth for a long time in knowing that, you know, what I was doing wasn't for me. I never actually knew that. I never let myself go there to knowing it because it's terrifying. It's vulnerable. It's moving away from so much good on paper to pursue what you know gets to be even better, which is your happiness, which is your alignment, which is me just feeling like at peace in my world and on purpose in my world. And I just didn't feel that, you know, I just didn't feel that. So yeah, that's kind of been the journey of this year, with again so many other things in between, so many incredible experiences, so many incredible opportunities, finding my group here and my humans here, just so much, and yeah, it's crazy. So I guess coming into 2025, I am just ready to fucking thrive, guys. Like I'm ready to thrive internally into an external plane. Like I just want to feel like Christina again. Like I just want to feel, regardless of everything going on in my world, like I just want to show myself how good things get to be, and how, you know, happy I get to be, how aligned I get to feel, how myself I get to feel, how self-expressed I get to be, how honest I get to be online, how much I just get to share my story, just do that unapologetically and unfiltered, and yeah, just do what I need to do to support me along the way, which is something as well that I have a very exciting update about that I just feel so good about. Obviously, my coaching business that I've now stepped away from was my full-time job for 3 years. So of course I've got the protein balls happening, all of the things which I am so blessed to be able to have built that to a source of income for myself. But I just knew that if I was going to really send it with myself in what I want to actually do with socials, with YouTube, with just feeling so happy and feeling so content in myself and in my life, I needed to make a decision to support myself in that. So I have got a new job, which I am absolutely loving, and that in and of itself was a whole process for me over the year, where for so long I just like had attached stories to like what it meant and why I shouldn't do it and why I should just keep doing like my coaching and all these things. And I was just like, no, like we're not doing that shit anymore. We're not doing what we know we want to do at the core of us, and we're not doing what we know is for us. And that for me was getting a job in a field that I love and that I'm passionate about. And I have been at this job for now, I'm gonna say 5 weeks. So I'm currently filming this on the 28th of December. Actually, 5 weeks. I started there on the 21st of November, but I've had so much time off already given like traveling back to Adelaide and just stuff like holidays and whatever. I've been in and out, but I'm working at a gym in a membership consultant role, which I have done in the past, and it's honestly been the biggest blessing for me. I work with the most incredible humans, and it's really just allowed me the space to actually have my creativity come back online, because I'm not pursuing a path that's not for me anymore. We just put the aircon on. Quick intermission. I had to put the aircon on because it is warm. It is very warm. But so where was I? Yes, coming into 2025. It is my year to thrive internally and to just feel the most at peace in my body, in my mind, in my soul, in living a life that just brings me, again, so much peace that I feel so deeply aligned with. And in order for that to happen, there's so many things that I'm just committing to not allowing bring with me into 2024. And you know, overall, that just looks like anything that is not a full body fuck yes for me. Like anything that is not a full body fuck yes for me is not coming with me. And you know, I've made so many decisions already around what the year's going to look like, what it's not going to look like, and I'm being so unapologetic in that when I'm doing this for me. I feel so happy. Like, I feel so happy. And you know, could it be that I finally just did the thing that I knew I wanted to do for myself and that I knew I wanted to do for my goals for probably a very long time, but I never actually admitted it. So I am now working at a gym. I am in membership support, consultant, sales, and all the things. So it's funny because I'm really like meeting what I loved to do in my coaching business in another role now, and in a role that just provides me like stability whilst I figure out what the next chapter of my life looks like, and whilst I build, you know, my socials and my YouTube and all those things that I want to do, whilst no longer pursuing something that does not light my soul on fire. And it's so funny because, hey, classic, my memory card was full again, so we're back. But where was I? I stood in my own way for so long, guys. And for anyone else that is just listening to this, like if you know that you are currently not making a decision that you know you need to make in order to get to where you want to go, get out of your own way. Like honestly, this experience, and you know, like I was saying, I had so many stories for so long around what it meant for me to actually just do the thing that I wanted to do. Like not even the thing that I thought I had to do or the thing that I needed to do, but what I genuinely wanted to do, like making an empowered choice around, in this season, what I want is stability. In this season, what I want is actually being around people, is actually not entirely being my own boss. Like I wanted to be around people. And if anyone knows me, like the story that I've told for all of time since I graduated university was that I never ever wanted to work for someone else. And lo and behold, I've done that up until this point, and it's been a slay, other than like cafe jobs and stuff like that. And this year I challenged that entirely, and I thought, but what if I did? But what if I did? Because what would that give me? What would that gift me? And what that gives me is choice, is me actually being able to fulfill my potential in the ways that I want to, because I'm no longer trying to do it in a way that I don't want to do it anymore. Like sure, I could continue to coach full time and I could continue to have that business do what it was doing at the cost of my happiness and at the cost of my peace and at the cost of my actual purpose in this lifetime. And so I had a honest team meeting with myself, and actually a girlfriend of mine, Riley, who I remember on a beach walk, I was like, do you know what? I'm getting a fucking job. And 5 days later, I had the job. That's a story for another day. I might do like a sit down, but it was the vibe of like, I went after it and I made it happen. Long story short, I walked into this gym that is 5 minutes away from my house that I drove past the day before, not even knowing that it was there, in my local shopping center, right? I walked in, I said, hey, are you hiring? And they said, yeah. And they had actually put up an advertisement for the role that I went in and inquired for 10 minutes before I had walked in there. So I didn't even know it was a thing yet. The next day I had my interview, the following day I had a job, and that's my story. Now, like I said, I haven't really been working too much because I've been in Adelaide for 3 weeks. I've had some time off because then I got sick. I'm now having New Year's off. Like it's been very stop and start, but I love it. I work with the best people and I've challenged every single thing that I thought was my truth. Turns out in this season, it's not. Like, turns out in this season, I'm thriving. Like, turns out in this season, I'm so happy pursuing what for so long I told myself I didn't want. And guys, I can't even tell you how good it feels to like fill you in on that. Like, to just be like, for so long I had convinced myself that doing that step, taking steps back, and who are you to just step away from the success and the whatever. And I was like, sit the fuck down, Christina, and prioritize your happiness. And what does that look like? And the truth is, guys, like, taking a step backward in your life looks like not making decisions that you know are going to support you in fulfilling your potential, right? So on paper, I could have continued to pursue the success in like business at the cost of my happiness, at the cost of my actual potential, right? Because our potential is fulfilled when we're in alignment, and I wasn't. And already, like, only being at that job since the 21st of November, so it's now the 28th when I'm recording this, but again, like, really only having had probably 2 and a bit weeks total of actual work, I feel so much happier. I feel so much more at peace. I feel so much more creative. I feel so much more grounded. I feel so much more purposeful, impactful. I get to support people every single day still in getting into the gym. And you guys know, like, that is such a massive part of my life, like health and wellness. And, you know, again, like, it's just the best. I'm just so happy. Like, it makes me honestly emotional to think of where I'm at now, and to think of like the decisions that I've made to get myself to where I'm at now, knowing how much of a leaping pad that is creating for me coming into not just the new year, but like for the rest of my life and for so many things. And I just know, like, this is going to be a season of my life that I look back on and go, fucking oath, girl. Like, you did the thing, you overcame the stories, you overcame the ego, you overcame the fear, you overcame the uncertainty, you overcame, you know, what society would think of you, what other people would think of you, whatever the story was, and you made the decision that was right for you. And I'm already just so happy. Yeah. It's cool. It's cool. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Cruz and I also have, oh my God, guys, I just have so much want to tell you, but can't tell you yet. That is coming. Cruz and I have something massive in store for the first 3 months of 2025. We're having some incredible meetings. And it's just wild. Like, the life that we are building together, and the life that Cruz really is providing for us, like in the decisions that he makes, in his mind, in his knowledge, in his work, in his grind, in so much. Like, I am so taken care of by that man. And yeah, our future just looks really, really exciting. So you'll hear more about that when I can actually tell you. I'm getting my marina out next Friday, which is the 3rd of Jan. So I'm just really, like, I'm hitting the ground running. And I feel like it's already New Year for me, because Christmas was like, we were in Noosa with Riley's family, which was incredible. And then we came straight back the next day, Cruz went back to work, and I've just got back into the swing of things. And I'm feeling fresh, I'm feeling ready, and I'm feeling excited for the new year. So I think I'm going to separate this video into 2, because this is like, has been going for a while, but I might actually just keep recording, and then the part 2 will like come, if that makes sense. But then also, by the time I edit it all down, it might not actually be that long. So let's just keep going. And then if you see this footage in the same video, you do. And if it's the second video, welcome.